Hello guys, going to be breaking down the 7-game NBA slate for Saturday, October 23rd. Before we get into it, I do want to let you guys know that for my videos on this channel, I'm only going to be able to break down the weekend slate, so that's going to be when it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, so it'll be for the next day. That's when I make these videos the night before. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday slates, I usually should be able to get a video in. Weekdays, just probably not for now. Maybe in the future, but definitely just don't count on it. And again, it's because I do work for DFS Army, so I do write an article pretty much every day. That's at least what I try to do, and it's always going to be posted down below in the comments. I'll pin it anytime that I do make a video. But always, if you follow me on Twitter at WLin018, that will be posted on there. Again, it's totally free, so feel free to give it a read. Just much more in-depth analysis about some low and tournament plays, or at least who I do think are going to go overlooked, and just a lot of reasoning. Usually, I like 2 paragraphs about each of my picks. So please go and check that out. But now getting into the slate, looking at the first game, one lone 4 p.m. game here, Pacific time. So Miami at Indy. There's a lot of back-to-backs on this slate, and we're talking about most of the teams are going to be on the second leg. So that's going to include the Pacers, also going to be the Cavs, the Raptors, the Pelicans, the Bulls, Spurs, and Suns, and the Grizzlies are on the first leg. So there could be a lot of load management going on, and there could be even more value because we do already have some pretty good value plays, I would say. So if we do, then I mean, you're playing Giannis. I mean, you probably are already playing him, but you probably play Luka comfortably, maybe even get in a third stud. So it could be just total starting scrubs. But right now, at least it's not unlocked to be that way of a slate. First game again, Heat from their side. I would say that because this is the second game for the Heat, that they'll probably try to take it easy, especially because Kyle Lowry is one of their vets. He probably doesn't need to play here. They could probably still beat the Pacers because they are rested, and they can just rely on Butler. Bam, Hero looks to be potentially a six-man winner candidate, and I think Butler, Bam, and Hero are all in play here. Butler is priced 8,500. It doesn't stand out, but I do think that he definitely deserves a really good look. The Pacers defense just hasn't been that great. They do play pretty fast. They're running a tight rotation, so maybe fatigue is kind of being a part of that. They did also play an OT game today, so yeah, they played a lot of their players were like 44, 45 minutes, so they're gonna be tired for this one. They might rest someone, but they've been running a very tight rotation. They pretty much ran like 9 guys. Popcorn Machine, if you guys don't know, this is a site where I look for all the rotations. So they don't have today's games so far, but I guess you can take a look at like the last game. So it's on the 20th, on the Wednesday. Like the Pacers, they ran basically um, an 8-man rotation, and all the big guys got a lot of minutes. Miles Turner was in foul trouble, but Miles Turner, he had a phenomenal game. He was actually one of my core plays in my cheat sheet. That's part of also what I do for DFS Army. So hopefully you guys, if you're not a member, feel free to join. If you are, then hopefully you did play Miles Turner in that one. Absolutely crushed it. But yeah, Heat side again. I do like Butler. Bam, 7,800. Miles Turner, I do have a lot of respect for on the defensive end, but if Lowry is out, definitely Butler and Bam both do get some bumps in assists. Now, Tyler Hero is probably going to be very chalky, but rightfully so. You have both guard position spots eligible, and then he's just a very good rebounder, and then you're going to get the assist upside. He's basically going to be a running backup point. So I do like Tyler Hero quite a bit. He probably should be like low mid 6Ks here, if Kyle Lowry is out, of course. Now the Pacers side, so I think Sabonis at 10K. He deserves a price tag, but when he is 10K, like he's usually a pretty consistent guy that can get you like mid high 40s to like the 50s. But you know, at 10K, then that would only be like 5x, and you usually do want a lot more than just 5x in tournaments. So I don't feel like he's gonna be a great play here. And the Pacers, or the Heat rather, that matchup, Bam Adebayo, very tough inside. They have a lot of good defenders there, so just a little concern for the matchup. And then also just the back-to-back. Same thing with like Brogdon. If they all play the regular minutes, they're still going to be excellent plays. but there are some things that really do concern me with the minutes and also the matchup. And do they really continue getting the significant minutes? So I'm not too sure. And then Miles Turner, I don't want to chase it. Like I got him on FanDuel today as a core pick, but this game, like I just don't see how he replicates a 40 and 10 performance. He's knocking down pretty much all his shots. He was getting 10 rebounds. He basically never gets a double double, and he's cheap. People are gonna definitely chase that. I don't think he's gonna be like too high, but I mean, even if he's like 15-20%, that's already too much for me. So I don't want any Miles Turner, but I think Chris Duarte is gonna be a core play at 3,900. This guy was 6K, but for whatever reason, his price just dropped down to value again. And I mean, you look at what Duarte did. He started, he played 33 minutes on this game, and then he played like I think it was like 42 at least or something on Friday. So yeah, just I mean those kind of minutes. He's a rookie, but he's a older rookie, so he's definitely isn't like too new or he's definitely got some years on him that he can definitely do well, handle this matchup just fine. So I like Duarte. Now Dallas at Toronto. So for the Dallas side, Luka 10.8K. I think he's going to be a secondary pay up option as of now. Just because we have Giannis, and Giannis could potentially be playing without Drew Holiday, who's probable, but last time it was probable Drew Holiday did miss that game. Now Luka 10.8K. There's no reason to like not like this guy. He's basically matchup proof. Toronto, they do have a phenomenal defender in OG Anunoby, so he's definitely going to be guarding Luka, but I mean, again, matchup proof, Luka can definitely just take on any matchup and own it. So I think 10.8K, he can definitely be kind of like a contrarian pay up. It is Luka though, so I don't think his ownership's going to be like single digits or anything. But if you don't want to play Giannis, you want to play maybe Chris, which I think is a very interesting stance to take on this one. You fade Giannis to take Chris, who would likely go off in the case that Giannis doesn't, and then you pay up for Luka. I think that's a pretty interesting tournament route that I'm going to go to for some lineups. Porzingis at 7.3K. He's just one of those guys that can put up like 50, but also can get you like 20. So very boom bust play for tournaments only. And everyone else, like I don't want like anyone down here honestly. And then on the Toronto side, so they're on a back-to-back. Fred VanVleet 7,600. They wait, let me just make sure. Yeah, Raptors are on a back-to-back. So 7,600 for FVV. He has shot terribly. Same with OG Anunoby, but if you look at their fantasy point total, they're still getting like 20s and 30s on like 20% shooting. And so like just imagine like when they do have a good shooting game, if they even just shoot like 40%, they would be getting 40, 50 Draftkings points. And so they're always going to be in play because they haven't played that well. Their prices are still low. Dallas, they don't play super fast, but this game, if they're going to stay in it, Toronto is at home, back to back though, so a little concerning. But again, these prices are way too cheap. They're going to be more expensive as the season goes on because these two guys just, they're basically the top options for this team. So I really like them. And then looking down, I think Precious Achiuwa, 3,600, he's starting. And even though Chris Boucher is already back, him and Birch are actually playing minutes together. So at least for the first game. So here you can see Birch, Boucher, both of them they played minutes together here. Whether that was like 2:30, and then a lot more minutes in the second half together. So that's just going to help how all three of these centers, one's playing power forward, that's going to help all of their minutes and all their playing time. Precious was in foul trouble, so that's why I only got 19 minutes in this one. Now on to Detroit at Chicago. So for the Detroit side, not too much that I like. I think Jeremy Grant is the only guy I want to go to. 6,700. The Bulls are going to be a tough matchup for them because it could definitely easily blow out. Jeremy Grant 6,700 though. If he's able to have a good game, I don't think this game can blow out then. And so you're basically playing it like, if I play Grant, then I could probably play a Bulls player if I want to. You don't have to, but likely then if Grant's doing well, this game should be able to stay close. So I like the idea of doing that. Now the Chicago side, their prices kind of went up for Roach and Levine. I don't want to chase Lonzo Ball's triple double. Rosen, I would say that becomes like my favorite out of the 4 guys because he's 7K and DeRozan can definitely go off for like 40, 50 plus. So I would say he's my favorite, but I don't think any of these Bulls plays are going to be in my core. Caruso for Valley 3400, but I do prefer Duarte and probably some other guys I'll mention later. Now the Pelicans and the Wolves. So for the Pelicans side, I think Ingram 8K, he's fine, but he's also just another guy that gets you like 20 or 50. So I don't really feel that great if I'm gonna have to pay 8K for him. Joval 7200, he's fine against Towns here. Uh, Again, if you haven't read my articles, I have mentioned that I don't really care about matchups, but for center, sometimes I'm gonna look at it because there's certain guys that just can own a different player. I know Joel Embiid is one. Like Miles Turner has an awful time when he plays Embiid, so in those situations for centers, I do at least factor that in a little bit. And so for this spot, if you look at not Aiden and Joval, but uh, it's Towns and Joval. I don't know why I put. Let me just quickly put that in for you guys. So Towns versus Joval, and look at their matchups. So basically, centers they usually can't both go off just with the rebounds, the points, and you look at the fouls. Like they both just were fouling each other a lot. Um, but recently, like their fouls Joval here, it's a little concerning with the 5.56 because Towns definitely is someone, one of the top centers in the game. So there's a little bit of concern for Joval here. But again, like with foul trouble, he's still putting up these kind of numbers, and this is in 22 minutes. So just imagine if if he stays out of foul trouble, what he's going to be able to do. So 7,200, he's always going to be in play. He's just such a good fantasy point per minute guy. Now, NAW 6,400. I'll have interest in him because he's also a very good fantasy player. And again, this matchup, Minnesota is the better team, but the Pelicans, if they're going to stay in it, they're going to need their main guys. So I do have some interest here. Graham, same thing, I think. Um, Graham, though, a little bit worse of a play than the other 3. Maybe not Ingram because of price, but Graham, he's just been shooting really well, and we know he's kind of like a low field goal guy, so he can go cold anytime. And I would just rather prefer to take NAW, who has a lot more peripherals. And then on to the Minnesota side. So Towns 10.2K. He's also another contrarian option you pay up for. We just saw what the matchup, how he handles Joval. He's definitely a beast, and he's just putting up monster games everywhere. So Towns in play, but he is 10.2K, so not under 5-digit price tag like we had last time. Deal 8,300. He can go off, but I just feel like that's a little bit expensive. Same thing with Edwards. And if you're looking for value, maybe McDaniels, Sharon McDaniels here, 3,500. He is starting. He can definitely have an upside game. He gets blocks and steals, but you need him to have some type of like scoring output to really get like a good game out of here for McDaniels. Now for Milwaukee and San Antonio, Milwaukee side, again, Drew Holiday is probable, and I'm not really sure what to do right now, but we'll have time. It's probably actually a good thing that we don't know, at least for right now, because this is a factory game. So maybe there's a late swap opportunity here that we can take advantage of. Maybe they have a different starting lineup, and we can just always make sure late swaps. So maybe something does go our way here, but regardless, I'm gonna like Giannis. I'm gonna like Middleton. Of course, if Holiday is out, both these guys just become really good plays. The Spurs are not back to back. I don't think that the Bucks are going to get blown out. They're not playing the Heat this time, and I don't think that Giannis is going to have another letdown game. So I think Giannis at 10.5K is going to just look like a very good play here. He's just honestly underpriced. He should be like close to 12K. Now Middleton at 7,400. I think he is just a pivot. Again, I mentioned just if you're not going to play Giannis for whatever reason, you go to Middleton because out of these 2 guys, one of them is going to have a good game if the Bucks are going to win here. So I don't even think it's a problem if you want to play both of them because it's not like a 10 plus game slate. It's only 7 games. Now for the value, it's kind of tough going to any of these guys because Connaughton, he can rebound well, but like Grayson Allen, Nora, they kind of really need to score the ball to get there. George Hill just really not intriguing to play. Mamu 3K. He's the min, but does take the center spot. But, he was on pace to play probably like in the high teens in minutes. If I could find that game, they got blown out again. So in the first half, he played 5:46. Yeah, that's 10 minutes. So 11 minutes basically. And then he got to the blowout run. So maybe you're looking at like 20 minutes. If it's a close game, possibly less. They'll just play Giannis at center. But yeah, I think you can definitely do worse. Maybe the Bucks actually blow out the Spurs in this one, so he could still get a blowout run or whatever. So he's definitely gonna be like a 2% play. You can definitely take a shot at. Unless he starts. If he starts, then well, there goes the low on play. But you would definitely want to play him as a value play. Now the Spurs side, so Murray and White. If Holiday plays in this one, I think you definitely want to play Spurs if you're trying to get a little bit contrarian. And that is because when a team is outmatched, at least on paper, then if this is a close game, that underdog team is going to probably have multiple players who go off in order for this game to stay close. And the way that these Spurs players are priced, I would be fine with playing multiple guys here, especially if you're trying to play like Giannis. I don't think you have to if you're just playing Giannis, but I think it's a good idea if you're playing like two Bucks. So Murray, White, you guys know how I feel about them. I love them. I think they're going to be two phenomenal fantasy players all year long. The price though, Murray, like he's definitely the better fantasy player, but 1200, it's a little bit difficult to say I prefer Murray over White confidently. So I think both of them are in play. I might favor White just because of the price, but both of them are definitely going to be in my pool. Now, Jakob Pearl, 4900. This is going in my cover boy because Brook Lopez has already been ruled out. And Brook Lopez's effect on this Bucks team is massive. He doesn't get a lot of rebound, but he's so key to this defense. He boxes out, allowing other players to get the rebound, and he's a rim protector. So you take that away, you have Giannis, who he's a monster, but rebounding wise, Pearl can definitely control the glass here. And when you only have Giannis and no Brook Lopez out there, this is going to be a much better matchup for the Spurs, and especially Pearl when he's this cheap. Pearl should be like in the high fives, low 6Ks, and low 6K. He's only 4,900 at home. He got into foul trouble on Fridays, so his minutes are not going to be a concern. I like this play, and same with Keldon Johnson. I don't really like him as a fantasy player, but this is a matchup again. The Bucks are a funnel defense; they will allow threes. Keldon should be able to get looks, and he's only 4,900, same price as Pearl. I think you can definitely play both of them together, but rebounding, Keldon usually needs a little bit of rebounding to help his total, and it's going to be difficult for Pearl and Keldon to definitely get all the rebounds, but I think their price tag makes it okay to play them together. So again, the Spurs are very intriguing to me on this slate. Now the Suns against the Blazers here. So the Suns are on a back-to-back, and he got Chris Paul. So we don't know if he's getting the rest, but he only played I think like mid-20s in minutes. It was pretty much a blowout against the Lakers. So Chris Paul, he was great. If he plays, and I would have him in my pool. It's the Blazers. The Blazers don't really play defense. They play fast. This should be a high-scoring game. Gonna be a pace-up spot for the Suns. So I like Paul. If Paul is out, then Booker gets a bump. Of course, Campaign then becomes an excellent value play. But I think I need to mention about DeAndre Ayton, 6,900. DeAndre Ayton at this price tag, I think is a little bit cheap. And again, we can look at the matchup. So I'm going to be going up against Houston Nurkic. So sorry for not pointing out this earlier. But sometimes they don't have, yeah, they don't have it. But the games played between them, that's something I do look at for centers. But you just look at his price for 6,900. That's pretty much too cheap here. And if he's gonna get a pace-up spot, that's gonna help him a ton with his rebound. Just more possessions, more shots. So gonna be more rebounding opportunities for Aiden. And again, Aiden, we've seen him in the playoffs last season, just how great of a player that he can be. So I think he's going to be kind of like a low and center play that I do have interest. McCall Bird is 4,900. He's a little bit riskier because he's just a 3-and-D guy, but he is pretty cheap here against the Blazers, so good matchup. Now on to the Blazers. So Lillard, McCall, they're going to both be fine, but I think Lillard is at this price tag is a little bit too expensive. So I would prefer CJ, but I think Nurkic, 7,300. Same thing with Aiden. Just these centers in this range are are pretty intriguing for me. And center as a whole, usually every slate there's going to be multiple guys, so I do probably want to play another center in the util spot. Now Powell 5600, he's also kind of risky because he doesn't really do a whole lot. Like he needs to score, he needs to shoot well. So tournaments only. Now on to the last game. So for the Memphis side, John Moran, his price is a little bit too high for me. I would say Jaren Jackson is going to be one of my favorite plays because he definitely has like 40-50 point upside. And the matchup is fine. It's not, really appealing, but 6,200, JJJ just, he's able to hit threes, he can block shots, he'll rebound. So I think he makes for an excellent tournament play. Steven Adams, though, 4,600. I thought about putting Adams ahead of Pearl, but I'm going to go with Pearl in that one because of um, just he's a better fantasy point per minute guy. And then you have Adams, who his minutes are a little bit, unsure of, and also just I don't think he's going to close the game. Like that's not a lock. Where I think Pearl should absolutely close it, especially because they probably want a rim protector against Giannis. So Adams, though, I really like him as well. He's just too cheap. Value at the center basically everywhere today. So Adams should be like 6K, and he's not. Now Melton 3,800. If he starts again, he's a very good fantasy player. And even though he shot, pretty well last game, he usually does get a lot more in the peripherals. So that can definitely make up for it if he does shoot a little bit poorly. And then onto the Clippers side, so Paul George 9,800. With no Kawhi, Paul George is pretty much a 10K player. So George totally fine, but again, you're going to be prioritizing Giannis though. And then Marcus Morris 5,200. He did get into foul trouble last game. He should close, possibly at center even. So 5,200, Morris can go out there and get you like 30, 40 points in an upside game. So he's going to be in play. Terrence Mann 4,700. I think this guy's also a breakout candidate this year, but price tag, I don't think you really need to, at least right now. Luke Kennard 3,500. Same thing with him. I think he definitely needs to take another step forward because the Clippers definitely need more scoring without Kawhi. So for this slate right now, my core, it's going to be the values first. So I'm going to plug in Duarte, and then I don't actually think I mentioned Scotty Barnes, but 4K again. This guy's just getting all the run in the world, so that's why I'm going to pick Barnes, and then Giannis, of course, and then covered by Jakob Pearl. I know that's going to be weird for you guys, but I really do like this play. And then with this much salary, I think you just go ahead and play Luka, honestly. So you're gonna get still a lot of salary to work with here. I will update this core later on, especially with DFS Army. So if you haven't joined, please check it out. I'll leave the link in the description below on this video. And if you use my code, it's going to be my name, so just Will, W-I-L-L. You do get 10% off your first purchase of a VIP or a core membership. So that's going to get you pretty much all the access to the tools that we have, also Discord chat where we all answer questions, the NBA staff at DFS Army. So there it is, guys. Again, thank you guys for watching. I'll make sure to post my article. I'll get to work on that right now. So remember, check that out. It's totally free. I'll post it on my Twitter as well. So again, thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you in the next video.